Stephanie, I'm gonna take a shower. I'll just be a minute.
What the hell's wrong with those dogs? God, I wonder if there could be a prowler out there.
What have you done? Oh, God, Thorne!
Stephanie?
Yes, Brooke, what is it?
Are you all right?
I'm fine. Did you want something?
I was just standing here thinking. You love him so much.
Who?
Ridge. After all the problems that you and I have been through, it's easy to forget.
Yes, I do love him. I love both of my sons.
I really do feel sorry for you, Stephanie. For everything that you've had to go through.
Hi.
Come in.
Thank you.
So, what would you like to drink?
Oh, whatever you're having.
Well, actually, I'm not having anything. I'm going to be working late tonight.
Oh, I don't need anything.
Shall we? I had Morris toss the salad.
It looks great. You know, I really am sorry about what happened today. Saying that I couldn't be here, then calling back, changing my mind.
I am too.
Well, it was just one of those crazy days, you know, everything kept happening.
Jamie, I'm really not interested. Look, I don't think this is going to work. It was a bad idea. I really think that you should leave.
Yes, Trish. Now? Jeez. All right. No, that's all right. Send him in.
Mr. Forrester?
Lieutenant, I really wish you would call me before coming over here.
I'm sorry, sir. This shouldn't take very long.
Well, I'm very busy. Is it important?
Yes, sir. I'm afraid it is important. It's very important.
the bold, and the beautiful. This portion sponsored by Puffs and Puffs Plus facial tissues. We have a soft spot for noses.
Thank you for the sentiment.
Well, it was more than sentiment. I've been watching you these past few weeks, and you've been very troubled.
Is there a point to this?
For the first time, I have been very aware of the love you have for Ridge. Which brings things into perspective.
What things?
The way you feel about me, the significant other woman in Ridge's life. If I were in your place, I would probably react the same way. Very protective.
It's nice to know that you understand.
Well, maybe one good thing came out of this tragedy. Understanding.
Between you and me?
Well, you have been a little more accepting.
Polite. I wouldn't say accepting.
Whatever. The point is that we've been able to coexist.
Life is a matter of priorities, Brooke. And yes, it's true that in the past few weeks, I've had more important things on my mind than you. So don't let that give you a false impression. My feelings towards you haven't changed at all.
Is it just me? Or is it any other woman that would become involved with Ridge?
It wasn't that way with Caroline.
Not even at first?
Ridge is a very attractive man. He makes himself available to women. Women go after him. Whenever there is an affair, I always have a healthy skepticism.
But you grew to accept Caroline, even love her.
Don't draw what would appear to be a logical conclusion. Because the same thing isn't going to happen with you.
Then it is me, personally.
Very much so.
Well, is there anything at all that I could do to change that?
Yes.
Stop seeing him. Well, I won't do that.
No, I wasn't going to say that. Continue to see him. Build a relationship, see if it exists. But if you're going to continue to see him, then do it someplace else. If you really want to convince me that you're sincere and not an opportunist, then move out of my house. It's that simple. Are you sincere or aren't you?
How can I help you, Lieutenant?
Well, I'd like to go over one or two areas if you don't mind.
All right. What are they?
The last time we talked, you told me that you had gone upstairs almost immediately after you and your wife finished looking for Thorne.
That may not be exactly the way I phrased it, but yes, that's what happened, pretty much.
May I ask what prompted you and your wife to look for him?
Well, when I got home, Stephanie asked me if Thorne had been with me at the office. I thought he had taken a sleeping pill and gone to sleep.
Well, why did you think that?
Because that's what my wife had told me earlier in the evening. Why? What's the relevance of all this?
Just bear with me, please. Did she say why he had taken the sleeping pill?
Well, under the circumstances, it didn't surprise either one of us. Thorne had just come through some pretty serious surgery. Caroline, his wife, was in New York. And it was important to him to get a full night's sleep before returning to work.
Was Thorne upset about anything at this time?
No. On the contrary. He was looking forward to coming back to work. He was very proud of Caroline and her accomplishment, getting her magazine off the ground. His life was really coming together. And it still is.
You're not implying that he had any problems earlier?
No, not at all. I mean, like any young married couple, they went through a certain period of adjustment. Successfully, I must emphasize. But all that was behind them.
I see. About your younger son, Mr. Forrester, would
Look,
you...
hold on, Lieutenant. I have a question for you. What is all this about Thorne?
Yes, Stephanie, I am very sincere. I love your son. And I want to become closer to you. If that's humanly possible. But no, I am not going to move out of this house. Unless Ridge asks me to leave. And he won't. As hard as it is to accept, you're just going to have to learn to. Because he loves me.
Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Thorne.
What's the matter?
What's the matter's in the living room.
You want me to leave?
That's what I said.
You're upset with me.
Now I think I'm really upset with myself.
How come?
My schedule is very demanding. I would assume that you've known that. Most people do. I don't have that kind of flexibility that you have.
I'm aware of that, Mr. Spencer. Really, I am.
And then, for some unknown reason, you just call and cancel our evening.
I had to.
Why did you have to?
I told you.
What you told me was that something came up. Now, when I make plans with somebody, it's usually at the expense of someone else. I was invited to a very important fundraising this evening, but I told him I couldn't do it because I had a prior commitment. You were the prior commitment. And then you canceled.
Well, if I'd known...
Jamie, are you totally unaware of my standing in this community?
I know that you're important and powerful.
I have a lot of responsibilities, and I take them very seriously. A lot of people look up to me. They seek me out for advice. Now, that's not bragging, that's a fact. I'm a publisher, the biggest publisher in this state. I set examples for people. I don't have the time to waste.
You said examples. Yes, I had almost forgotten about that.
Look, I don't mean to hit you over the head with this. It's probably my fault. It never should have gone on this far.
What shouldn't have?
You and me. And a very innocent friendship. But I think that it's becoming a bit too important.
It's important to me, too.
And perhaps it shouldn't be.
Do you mean that?
Don't put me on the spot. I think you should leave now.
Have another one of your nice little talks with Brooke?
That girl is just never going to understand.
What, your overprotectiveness? Not sure there's many of us who do, Mother.
That's a strange thing to say. I never realized that you thought I was overly protective.
Well, you're not most of the time. With most of your children.
There's a message there somewhere.
We'll take it with a grain of salt.
I would if I knew what it was.
Look, please don't take this the wrong way. But when it comes to Ridge, you are really overprotective.
You think I play favorites?
No, I didn't say that. You did.
You just implied that.
I'm not insecure about your love for me. God, don't think that.
But you think I'm more protective of Ridge than I am of you.
Well, more so than all of us. But it's no big deal. I'm gonna go up and take a shower. I'll see you at dinner.
But it is a big deal because it's not true. How could you even think that? I love you as much as I love Ridge, as much as I love Kristen and Felicia. I mean, if anything ever happened to you, I couldn't bear that. I couldn't bear that.
Is there some reason you don't like talking about Thorne?
Yes, there is. I don't like the implications.
Mr. Forrester, there are implications regardless of who I ask you about.
But you're not asking me about anyone. You're asking me about Thorne, my son. Now, I want you to level with me, Lieutenant. I want to know what you're after, right now.
Mr. Forrester, all I am trying to do is to put the events of the evening into sequence.
I was working here with Ridge.
Who left first?
I did. When I got home, Stephanie asked me if Thorne had been at the office with me because he wasn't upstairs in his room.
Were you concerned at all?
About what?
About what may have happened to Thorne?
No, not at all. He's a grown man, Lieutenant.
Nevertheless, you did begin to search for him.
I would hardly call it a search, Lieutenant.
What would you call it?
Concern that he might have fallen asleep out by the pool. We didn't think that was a very good idea for him to spend the whole night out there, so Stephanie and I went out that way to see if he was there, and he wasn't.
Did you look anywhere else?
Stephanie checked his bedroom again.
And was he there?
No, he wasn't, not at that time.
So what did you do next?
I guess that's when I went upstairs to take my shower.
And you were not concerned about his absence?
No more than you should be. Look, it was even conceivable that he had gone out.
Where might he have gone?
I don't know. There's not that many places he could have gone. Maybe the club. Or...
Did you check the club?
We didn't feel the need to.
But you never found Thorne.
I didn't, but Stephanie did. When she came to the hospital later, she specifically told me that Thorne was asleep in his room.
Do you remember when she found him?
Sometime before the shooting, I guess. You'll have to ask her about that.
Is it possible that Thorne could have slipped into his bedroom unnoticed by either you or your wife?
It's a big house, Lieutenant. Thorne could have come inside and gone upstairs unnoticed at almost any time, especially after Stephanie went upstairs.
But his absence didn't bother you?
No, Lieutenant, I'm sorry it didn't. Not nearly as much as these questions do, and the message they convey.
Mr. Forrester, the message is that we have a loose end here. One which I would very much like to clear up before moving on. I'm not making any accusations about anybody. I just don't like loose ends. I do appreciate your time. Good evening, sir.
Anything might happen to me. Make it sound like I'm gonna drown when I go up and take my shower.
I'm not being funny.
I'm sorry. It's just you never talk to me that way.
I've never told you how much you mean to me.
Not with such intensity, Mother.
I guess it's just everything that's happened with Ridge.
It's over. You've got to get it out of your mind, Mother.
I'm afraid it isn't that easy, honey.
Not for you, I'm sure it's not. Especially since you witnessed it. But hey, Ridge is coming home soon. Until then, you got me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not gonna let anybody come in and hurt us. You're not going to lose me. Mother, I never realized how much pleasure I give you.
Oh, honey, I love you. I love your strength and your silly sense of humor and your tenderness. I'd miss that. It'd break my heart.
I'm here. You got me.
Yes, I do, don't I? And I'm not gonna lose you. I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. I'm not gonna let anything happen to you.
And though there are still some unanswered questions, all of them seem to point to the youngest brother, Thorne Forrester. More and more, everything seems to point to Thorne Forrester.
Join us again for The Bold and the Beautiful,